24th year and well over 19,000 guests, The Ron Sedgy Show live originates from our Universal Radio studios. Celebrities from TV, music, movies, literature, politics, and show business, at one time or another, they all come to The Ron Sedgy Show. So why don't you?
You can try fighting the law all you want, but the law is always going to win. From politicians and celebrities to sports figures and business leaders, they're fighting the law. Now, here to sort out the nation's top legal news stories is America's favorite legal analyst, Royal Oakes. This is the Royal Oakes Show.
Robbing people with a six-gun. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
Thank you, Mike Horn, and welcome to the Royal Oakes Show, and welcome to our co-host, Ken Jeffries. How you doing, Ken?
What a week.
Pretty amazing
glad
week.
to be here, but I'm telling you, what a week.
No shortage of stuff to talk about. Our millennial correspondent, Connor Oakes. It's rare that you're here. Usually you're gallivanting. You're jet-setting around the country on special assignment.
Well, you know, we millennials, we move around so much. We spend our paychecks.
You know, I've told you a million times, stop gallivanting.
We spend our paychecks on experiences and plane tickets instead of things like, having real estate for the future.
Well, you're all the better for it.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to have you here. We got some top stories we want to cover, folks. The midterms. Was Liz Warren the big loser?
I can't wait to see
the biggest loser?
You can spin this.
I'm going to give you my a theory on that.
Right.
Jeffrey Sessions, you're fired.
Who?
You're fired.
Who?
But what next? A little
You know,
ironic.
we forgot about him already, didn't we?
I know.
This crazy
A little
week.
ironic, yeah, with the fires and everything else. But, you know, Mr. You're Fired, Donald Trump, that's what he is famous for, actually.
Well, different
after
kind of
all.
fire. We had You're Fired, and now we have The Fires.
But he won't fire his guys. He had his Chief of Staff Kelly do the fire.
Right.
He did the dirty work. Another top story, of course, the Thousand Oaks shooting. Are we going to have gun control at last? And unfortunately for Thousand Oaks, they're also in the news because of the fires. We'll get into that. And finally, a notorious RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, falls. 3 ribs broken. Man, she battles back. She's had cancer twice. She had a fall not long ago, last few years. If she leaves the court, I have a feeling the next fight over the Supreme Court justice will make Kavanaugh look like a love fest.
Wow.
Because the Democrats are going to see all the dominoes falling, whether it's abortion or affirmative action or whatever.
Right.
So those are our top stories. So we're going to have our Moron of the Week feature.
A bunch of Democrats, by the way, volunteered to donate their ribs.
Oh,
So
I love it.
Yeah.
That's great. Like an Adam's rib kind of thing.
Kind
The
of
old
thing,
Spencer Tracy movie. We love to talk about morons on this show. We always talk about 2 Moron of the Week candidates, and we'll vote on one at the end of the show. And one of the candidates, I'll just tease it for you, is a lawyer who taunted his non-paying client by saying, "I hope you enjoy yourself in jail." So
That's not good.
That's coming up. That's one of our moron candidates.
Let me check the legal ethics book.
We've got our Guess the Verdict feature. I'm going to throw a couple of cases at the guys, see if they can guess the outcome. One of the questions is, how private is your junk? That's the question you're going to have to answer when you guess the verdict. And we're going to have our Hot Tub Time Machine feature, which is unique. This is a world-class breaking news stuff. We're going to dip into the past with a Hot Tub Time Machine soundbite from the past, but also, for the first time on the show, we are going to travel to the future in our Hot Tub Time Machine.
Impressive.
And we are going to have a future soundbite on this
Can't
show.
wait.
I mean, a soundbite that hasn't been made
Has
yet.
not
Yes, has
happened
not
yet,
happened.
yeah.
It's going to be amazing, Ken. And final.
It's like Criswell predicts.
Exactly. So, in addition, we love to talk about bizarro world news, and one of the items has to do with Rudy Giuliani. Say it ain't so, Rudy. He's broke. He's going through an ugly divorce.
You know something? I saw that. I kind of heard about it, but from you.
Yeah.
We talked earlier this week, and I couldn't find anything about this.
I've got some
gonna give you the
ideas.
details.
I've
He's
got some
keeping it on the
ideas
down low.
for how he can earn some cash.
Okay, we're going to get to the Bizarro World show news. But our top story really is the midterms. And, the reason I say Liz Warren may be the biggest loser is it's interesting. A consensus seems to be emerging, both from the left and the right, is that the big loser of the midterm was the progressive wing of the Democrat Party. Because so many of the people, for example, Liz Warren had supported 4 or 5 candidates, really very progressive candidates, and they all lost. And so I don't know if you guys have a reaction to that, but, in a way it was kind of a split decision. Certainly it's a setback for Trump to lose the House. I mean, that's huge, not only legislatively, but now they run all the investigative committees, and they're going to be pushing the Mueller agenda and so on. But on the other hand, the Senate boosted up the Republican margin by a little bit, and that's going to make it maybe easier to get a lot of these judges and justices appointed on the federal side. But the impression really is that, the really progressive wing, the candidate from New York, the Democratic Socialist, yes, of course she won, but that part of the Democrat agenda seemed to suffer a setback. And I wonder if you picked up on that or if you disagree.
I feel like American politics at the moment is so much about mainly Trump versus the world. And while we can draw a distinction and say the really progressive candidates, like say in a local race for our local listeners, you'd say Kevin De Leon didn't take down Feinstein when he is by far the more progressive candidate, and she's the establishment candidate, and she survived. And maybe you could say that it's possible Democrats don't want to sort of change horses in midstream, and they don't want to make another Bernie Sanders-style mistake where they sort of split the Democratic vote and split the Democratic enthusiasm, even if the voters end up voting in the general all one way or partially. You might take the wind out of the sails of the people trying to get the vote out there and get the excitement up by sort of having infighting issues between the far left progressives and the more establishment Democrats. So I can see why the public and also pollsters and also strategists might be wary of that far left movement. But at the same time, like I said at the beginning of my little rant here, I think it really is Trump versus the world. And since it's Trump versus the world, what really matters was whether the Trump-backed conservatives won or the non-Trump-backed conservatives won, and it's sort of like indecisive.
Well, Trump at that news conference earlier this week, the famous Jim Acosta news conference.
Oh yeah, everyone's favorite.
The tussle over the microphone.
Oh my God, everything happened this week.
The microphone and all of that.
And then he karate chopped a woman in the face. I think I saw the video.
Pretty sure.
Yeah,
right.
Times.
Sure. If you slow it down and
slow
add,
the video,
whatever.
ominous
Jones
music.
the video.
But the thing was, I think it started when Trump castigated Republican congressional candidates who did not align themselves with him in those laws.
Yeah.
And one of the last names was Love for some woman. He said, "Well, she didn't show me any love."
Oh, that's clever.
Something like that,
Yeah.
and he.
That might be the cleverest thing Trump has ever said.
One of the Democrat freshman congressmen was frightened to death. He said, "The president is going to castigate us." You see, he doesn't understand the meaning of
castigate.
Yeah.
So let me give you the stats to back up what I was saying about the progressives. Elizabeth Warren, she got involved in several key races with hand-picked progressive proteges. She kind of lost 5 out of 5. There was she supported somebody named Cordray in Ohio. In Indiana, somebody named Trey Hollingsworth blew out. Warren endorsed Liz Watson. Ms. Warren, in her own liberal state, endorsed a ballot initiative that would have mandated nurse-to-patient ratios in hospitals. Voters destroyed it 70 to 30%. She rallied for Democrat gubernatorial candidate Jay Gonzalez, who lost to Republican Governor Charlie Baker by 34 points. I guess the question is, how can they lose when basically they're pushing free stuff? When you say Medicare for all, essentially you're saying free stuff for everybody. How can the progressives lose? And how can somebody who is so famously unpopular as Trump avoid a total blue wave, like a tsunami, inundating his party, which didn't happen?
Well, I refuse to let a loss turn into a win there and have the conservative narrative dominate to say, well, our losses could have been more significant, or the blue wave could have been bigger. The Democrats took the House back. They're up 35.
I was going to mention that. I was going to get to that.
Yeah, eventually. As you and I were talking about, Ken, these races are now getting more competitive, not less, as more votes are counted, and we could have 42, theoretically, 42 potential seats up for the Democrats in the House. That's how big a wave we're talking. I mean, that is a massive mandate.
There's something interesting, too.
And really, structurally, if you want to talk about how difficult it would be for the Democrats, the Senate was stacked against them. The fact that they didn't take control of the Senate, basically no one had them predicting that was going to happen. There were so many Democrats up for re-election and so few Republicans up for re-election, especially in competitive districts, or rather in competitive states, in the Senate, that it would have been basically not impossible. It's sub 10% chance that they were going to be able to take that back just because they were playing defense in basically every race.
Right. The other thing was suburbia turned against Trump. At least I thought so. And supposedly suburban women, not that they all voted as a bloc and all that other stuff.
No, but in general, they're pretty hard on Trump.
The burbs which went for him, I believe a couple of years ago, are now are angry at him for whatever that is.
What about this theory, though, Ken? That Spartacus actually was what helped the Republicans. The reaction to Kavanaugh by Cory Booker, by the folks who were yelling and screaming in the hearings, galvanized the Republicans, put the Democrats in a bad light.
It did some. And I just want to mention Liz Warren. I don't think that she... she's a very well-known member, obviously, of the Democratic Party, but I don't think she speaks for the party because the party really has there is a head of the Democratic Party, but nobody as well-known as Trump. There's no as far I could be. I don't think there's no Democratic version of Trump right now.
Well, you're right, and actually the polls that we talked about the other week showed Biden's got 33% among Democrats, 13% go to. Let's see who was in second place. It was Bernie. Bernie was 13%.
Okay.
Then Kamala Harris at 9%. Yeah, Liz was in fourth at 8%. So you're right. She not only isn't a spokesperson.
First of all, we haven't heard yet from Oprah whether or not she's going to run.
That's true. That's true.
But the other one was. No, I lost my train of thought, and I'm sorry about that. Oh, Beto O'Rourke.
The train has left the station.
Beto O'Rourke.
Yes.
Beto O'Rourke, of course.
He's the face of the future for the Democrats, I think.
Yeah, I think we haven't heard the last of him. They're going to groom him for other stuff.
Definitely
not. And I'm sure the Democrats are very disappointed he didn't win.
Of course.
But it was a long shot. I think it was a long shot anyway.
No.
But in any event, you have to wait and see what he's going to do and all of that. So his options are probably open.
Yeah, if he had won, he would have been out of the running for a 2020 outsider long shot run. But now that he didn't win, that he's got nothing to do with his day, he's a potential.
Now, it's been fun talking fluffy stuff about the midterms, but let's talk serious stuff now. Okay. The impact of celebrity endorsements.
Oh, thank goodness.
It didn't go well. Taylor Swift endorsed Democrat Governor Phil Bridson in Tennessee. He lost to Marsha Blackburn. Dave Chappelle campaigned for his longtime friend Ben Jealous. I didn't know there was a guy named Ben Jealous, who lost a bid to be governor of Maryland. Yeah. A name like that, of course he's going to lose. Oprah and Will Ferrell hit the stump for Democrat Stacey Abrams in Georgia's heated gubernatorial contest, and I believe it's real close, but it's
still alive.
And in fact, down. Abrams hasn't conceded
she
yet,
has not,
as far as we know.
She had a concession. I believe she maybe withdrew the concession.
Yeah, but Adlai Stevenson hasn't conceded the 56 race.
Harold Stassen hasn't conceded.
That's true.
But and then we have the mess, which leads us to the mess in Florida and now in Arizona.
Before we get to that,
we'll get to that in a
let me
second,
finish my celebrity list because you're going to be interested in LeBron. He lost. LeBron and Beyonce supported Beto O'Rourke in Texas. Yeah. And finally, Rihanna and Sean Diddy Combs supported Democrat Andrew Gillum. I guess he's still kind of hanging in on the
that's the thing. He just today he withdrew his concession.
Yeah, and I think
because they're counting.
Oh, it was Gillum that withdrew his concession. Thank you.
Yeah, and the county registrar lady there apparently found she found 200,000 extra Democrat votes in her closet.
I know,
so
and we're going to hear. You know what?
Did find a box of that's a hilarious joke, but they found a box of.
I got to tell you, this reminds me.
All week.
A lot of the stuff reminds me of 2000 all over again, except we don't have any hanging chads. Now we have ballots found in toilets.
So yeah, Broward County.
Why is that not just a joke? What I said?
Because in Broward County they found a box of previously uncounted ballots that were not caught in the multiple first runs.
This is why our election system in these cases it's a mess.
Yeah, it is a mess because the Secretary of State in all these cases is in charge of the elections. And guess what? For example,
he was running in
Kemp,
Georgia.
He was running in Georgia. He had no interest in making the election free and fair.
Now, not only were there endorsements by the candidates, but the celebrities paid the big bucks. Seth MacFarlane, I know you're a fan.
I guess.
I am too.
Family Guy, right?
Right.
$2.15 million.
Not bad.
Yeah. Yeardley Smith, who does the voice for Lisa Simpson, she gave $252,000 to Democrats. Kate Capshaw, $334,000 all to Democrats. Barbara Streisand, $158,000 all Democrats. Jane Fonda, $42,000. What is this? A weird coincidence? Every celebrity.
What a coincidence.
Oh no, here it is. Peyton Manning, former NFL quarterback, gave $5,400 to a Republican.
When
we come back, a lawyer who taunted his non-paying client by saying, "Have fun in jail."
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
Located in the heart of Maui's premier resort, Kaanapali Beach Hotel is officially recognized as Hawaii's most Hawaiian hotel and the #1 best value in Hawaii. With a range of accommodations and affordable dining options, this is the ideal setting to turn Hawaiian dreams into lifelong memories. Live Hawaiian entertainment every evening, free year-round children's programs, weekly arts and crafts fairs, welcome breakfast, and departure kukui lei ceremonies add to the value. Swim in the whale-shaped pool, indulge in the fabulous spa and hotel salon. Enjoy Hawaiian hospitality at its best at the Kaanapali Beach Hotel. Call 800-262-8450 or go to kbhmaui.com. That's kbhmaui.com. Aloha.
Kaanapali Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares first or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644.
Still got those annoying critters? I'm talking bees and fleas, spiders, ants, roaches, bed bugs, and those disgusting rodents. Have you made that call to Dewey Pest Control yet? What's holding you back? Get rid of them, and I mean right now. When the heat brings them out, it's time to call Dewey, because Dewey knocks them down and keeps them out. Dewey's an 89-year Heritage California family business with 32 offices statewide. Think you got those 24/7 wood-munching termites chewing up your house? Call Dewey right now for their free inspection. And all this month, get $89 off with a regular maintenance program. Call 800-209-0900. That's 800-209-0900. Just one call to Dewey does it all. 800-209-0900. Or get your free inspection online at DeweyRadio.com. That's Dewey, D-E-W-E-Y, DeweyRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries and our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes. So, Carly Rae Jepsen had her day in the sun with this song a couple of years ago. She's actually had a couple of big hits recently. Party of One is Carly Rae's big. I know.
You know more about her than I do.
I know, Ken. You are such a fan of.
Call me maybe. That's the only thing I know, and I have no idea what that means.
Speaking of music, guys, I gotta apologize to Freddie Mercury's memory. Last week, I speculated. I heard the Bohemian Rhapsody movie wasn't so great. Music, of course, is.
Yeah.
Lauren and I saw it last night. We loved it.
Yeah, you know what? I heard it was great.
Fabulous movie.
And last week, I put it on here on KABC. I discovered it was the #1 movie of the week, pulling in $50 million in its opening weekend, and people are loving it.
Snobbish critics, I think, look at it and say, it's not that different from a documentary about Queen, because the guy's lip-syncing. I mean, it's the real Freddie Mercury and Queen music. And it's the typical story about, getting together as teenagers and forming a big band, and then they're huge, and then there are fights, and they fall apart, and they come back together. So you could say it's hackneyed in that way, but the acting is just amazing. This guy totally owns. I mean, you see him, and you said, that's Freddie Mercury. And they recreate the Wembley Stadium, 70,000 people cheering like crazy for the Live Aid concert in 1985 or whenever that was. Anyway, fabulous movie.
I think the argument was from some critics they didn't treat his bisexuality enough or something.
Yeah.
And again, I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Did they?
It's all about his sexuality. It's the theme that's weaving throughout the whole movie.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't want to obsess about it or spoil it.
So go see it. Okay.
Go see it. So, moron of the week, candidate number one, New Jersey lawyer. His name is Logan Terry. And he's a criminal defense lawyer, and his client doesn't want to pay his bill. And so the lawyer wants to bail. And twice he's asked the judge to let him out. But he's so close to trial, the judge says, no,
let him go.
You're in. So what does Terry Logan do? He sends a letter to his client, and he says, you're not paying your legal bills. Okay. Have fun in prison.
Oh, no.
Have fun in prison is the message that he sends.
So this isn't if you don't pay your bill, I'll send you to debtor's prison. This is I will be a bad lawyer or not good assistance to you in court, and you'll end up in jail. Yeah. Oh, my dear Lord.
Apparently he didn't get a degree in empathy.
The judge has reprimanded him, and so we're gonna put this guy
with a switch. Did the judge take him out back with a switch?
No. But this is candidate number one for moron.
It's gonna be hard to top that guy
of the week. So second top story this week, of course, is the Jeffrey Sessions firing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think Trump just wanted to sort of stomp on the election results because the election was Tuesday night? And then Wednesday morning is when he fired Sessions.
I think it's the opposite. I think that he wanted the election results to stomp on his firing of Sessions. He wanted that to go under the radar. He wanted that to just
Good point.
Everyone's talking about races and results and polls.
You know what was weird, too? The news conference he held, which I think was Wednesday morning, the morning after the election, he did not mention firing Sessions.
You're right.
Yeah.
He didn't want to answer questions.
Specifically, one of the questions, not from Jim Acosta, but it was, are you going to fire, I think you said, are you going to fire Jeff Sessions? And he demurred, I guess.
Later, actually, this week, he was asked by Abby, I believe her name is Abby Phillips, who's an African-American woman who covers the president, and she asked what is an eminently reasonable question, given that previously Trump has used the words, I want Sessions to rein in the Mueller investigation. So he fires Sessions and installs Whitaker unconstitutionally. We'll talk about that in a second. And then Abby Phillips says, in the course of a press conference, or an impromptu press conference, Mr. President, would you like Mr. Whitaker to rein in the Mueller investigation? Right. And Trump's response is, that is such a stupid question. That is just such a stupid question. And I've seen you before. You ask such stupid questions.
Yep.
And this
got personal.
Yeah.
Trump got personal.
Oh, shocker.
What a surprise,
this set off people saying, look, he keeps targeting women and people of color, especially women of color, with comments about their intelligence. Low IQ, Maxine Waters.
Right. The other thing was,
black
was
female
a question,
reporters
I think, before that by an African-American woman. It might have been April Ryan. I don't remember.
It was April Ryan.
And he said, I forgot what the question was. And he said, that's a racist question.
Well, I don't know about the racial angle, but I think the political angle is that Trump wants to separate himself now from Whitaker, who's running the Department of Justice, because he doesn't want any anti-Mueller conduct by Whitaker to be seen as guided by the hand of Donald Trump. And that's why Trump this week said, I don't know this guy.
Whitaker?
Right.
Who's
Even
Whitaker?
Though Trump told Fox a month or two ago when asked about Whitaker, he's a great guy. I know him. I know him. So there's a little confusion there.
Almost like he's lying.
Yeah. So but let's get to the issue. Well, speaking of lying, I mean, politicians, their lips move and they're lying. Jeffrey Sessions is a longtime politician. Here's his letter. Dear Mr. President, at your request, I'm submitting my resignation. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. President. He thinks the president is an intergalactic a-hole, and yet he's being pleasant, he's being polite to him. That's kind of ridiculous.
It is.
What we will talk about when we come back is the question of the legality of appointing this guy as the interim attorney general, and whether or not he should be reined in, he should recuse himself from doing anything as to Mueller. We'll get the progressive view. I'll tell you my view right now. He's got nothing to apologize for. If Peter Strzok can send his texts, this guy can go after Mueller as hard as he wants. Stay with us here on the Royal Oak Show. And we're going to get to our Guess the Verdict feature when we come back as well.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
Were you scammed into signing a timeshare contract? And did you miss the part that said you have to pay for your great idea? Not only for the rest of your life, but when you're not here anymore, you get to pass this turkey onto your family for them to pay for the rest of their lives. Thanks, Dad. Don't burden your family down the road, and don't be stuck with expensive timeshare payments forever. Get out of your bad idea timeshare contract guaranteed, or pay nothing. Call Resort Release today and learn for free how their timeshare Timeshare Exit team can help you legally exit your timeshare contract. They've helped thousands of people, and they're A-plus rated with a BBB. So if you feel scammed, get mad and get out of your expensive timeshare contract right now, guaranteed. Call NOW.
800-716-9903. 800-716-9903. 800-716-9903. That's 800-716-9903. Do you owe back taxes to the IRS? Newsflash, the president has changed the tax laws, and now you may be able to pay the IRS less. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, the tax doctor can help you pay the IRS as little as possible allowed by law. There are new tax laws for business owners, the self-employed, even W-2 workers. If you have a back tax problem or a few years of unfilled returns, new help to save you money is now here. Call right now to see how the new tax laws can help you. Plus, right now, we'll waive the consultation fee and give you a free tax savings report. Attention business owners, the self-employed, and W-2 workers. Make this free call to the tax doctor now and learn how to take advantage of the new tax laws that may help you pay the IRS less. 800-985-1610. 800-985-1610. 800-985-1610. That's 800-985-1610.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares first or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644. 800-915-2644. 800-915-2644. 800-915-2644.
You order a glass of your favorite Cabernet, fresh asparagus, hollandaise on the side, a filet, medium rare. You unfurl your napkin with a flair, close your eyes, and prepare to listen. Ah, there it is. The sweet music you long to hear. The sizzle. The sizzle of a Ruth's Chris steak.
The most magnificent corn-fed prime beef, broiled to perfection at 1,800 degrees. Some call it a sizzle. We call it an anthem.
As the waiter approaches, you think, is this one mine or that one?
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Like Ruth always said, life's too short to eat anywhere else.
Make a reservation online at ruthschris.com or by calling 800-544-0808.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries and our Monroe correspondent Connor Oakes. Yep. We're going to get back to the Jeffrey Sessions firing and its implications, but we have our feature, Guess the Verdict. You guys are like kings of Jeopardy here. You're always getting answers right. I'm going to give you two criminal cases.
99 for 100.
Two criminal cases this today. Tell me who won, what was the outcome? First, a New York man goes on trial for forging his mother's signature on 7 checks, and he faces, by coincidence, 7 years in prison. His mom, who turned him in, begs for mercy, begs the court for leniency. What do you think happened? How did the judge react to the mom saying, never mind, it's okay?
A mother's love can be curative and rehabilitative, so I think that he gave him
Is that like a maxim of the law?
Yeah, totally. Okay. So I think he gave him 7 days right instead.
Okay, that's your guess. What about you, Ken?
Well, but the whole, did you give him the whole, what's guess the sentence in this case?
Yeah, guess the sentence.
Yeah,
or he'll probably give him 3.5 years. Oh, I see. Well, no, he probably gave him a sentence.
Well,
I said reduced sentence. You can join my reduced sentence.
Go, yeah, I think
like Price is Right. Higher than 7 days.
Higher, lower, and waiting for the yodeling guy to fall off the cliff. Also,
hit me the over/under.
I kind of agree with you.
Okay.
A lesser sentence.
Lesser sentence.
Sorry, guys, there's no way you could have guessed this. The judge dismisses the charges, but only if the man recites in open court Rudyard Kipling's poem "Mother O' Mine."
Oh my God!
Now that's what I call a lenient judge. Second and final case, and this comes into the how private is your junk issue. A California man's garbage contains drug residue and paraphernalia. He carries his trash to the street like a good citizen.
Okay, sure.
That night, the police come by, look at the garbage, find the drug paraphernalia, and based on that, get a search warrant. Search of the man's home turns up cocaine and hashish, and he is convicted. He appeals his conviction, saying this was a violation of his privacy. Ken, what do you think?
I think it is a violation of his privacy.
Okay, what about you, Mr. Connor? What do you think?
I'm going to say, so a man's home is his castle.
Yes.
And inside his castle, please do all the amphetamines you like, sir, or whatever, or hashish, I don't even know what it was. But I'm going to say that you lose your reasonable expectation of privacy when you hand the stuff over to be picked up by Bert the garbage man and hope to never see it again. And if Bert wants to go through it and find a classic Walkman or some drug residue and take it home with him.
You are correct, sir. The rule is once you put your stuff out to the street, which seems wrong to a lot of people, but that is the U.S. Supreme Court decision.
I don't want the cops looking at my garbage, but
when you put it on the street, you're considered
public property.
I did throw it away.
Right.
This is why you should shred all your stuff.
Yeah, shred your drug paraphernalia. It's still going to have marijuana molecules in it. So let's get back to Jeffrey Sessions, because I got to lay my theory on you guys.
Okay, hit me.
All right, you can talk about your technical violations about Whitaker being a permanent person, and does he need Senate confirmation, and does he have the background and all that. But the main thing the Democrats are just going nuts over is the fact that, well, this guy's on record. He had an op-ed piece on Fox News, no less, saying that it was a witch hunt, saying that Mueller, has overstepped his bounds and so on. And so the Democrats wanted to recuse himself. You know what? If the Democrats are okay with Peter Strzok sending 80,000 texts to his mistress saying, we'll stop him, he'll never be president on our watch, we can stop it, and if you're going to let him run the Hillary email investigation and the Donald Trump collusion investigation and say, oh, well, unless there's some credible evidence that his bias actually
check all that
his decision, if they're okay with that, I'm okay with Whitaker riding to the rescue for Donald Trump and doing what he needs to do to rein in Mueller if he should be reined in. Now, if he obviously does something ridiculous, the Democrats can investigate him, impeach him, they run all the House committees. But just because he has a bias like Strzok had, I don't see that is disqualifying.
Now here's this: Strzok's bias was supposedly private, like in text messages, but this guy went public.
Who cares?
Well, is there a difference? I don't know. It's still it is a bias.
I don't think it should matter because I think it's the same way. I mean, if Connor were on trial for burglary, and I knew that the jurors hated Connor because of Connor's political progressive attitude, I wouldn't want them on the jury. I'd say, Judge, get rid of them. And by the way, Connor's innocent.
Yeah, that too. Of course I am. No, I'm with you on that. I don't think public versus private specifically matters in terms of bias. And I also think that it's basically impossible that Trump would ever have chosen somebody who wasn't biased in his favor. Specifically, that's the point. But the real problem is that he should have to go through the same process as every other principal officer, as the Constitution demands that principal officers are to be confirmed with the advice and consent of the Senate. And in that process, the Senate would be able to decide whether this guy is really so biased and so bad, makes such bad decisions, is really going to be a bad attorney general, and they should be the arbiter of that bias. And that's the appropriate venue for it. But hey, we skipped that whole thing somehow, I guess, because Trump just felt like installing a new AG, acting AG, despite the fact that he's not been confirmed by the advice and consent of the Senate.
Does he have to be?
That's the question.
Yeah, I can shed some light on that because you're raising a good inside baseball question.
Yeah.
Trump has appointed him not as the AG, but as the interim AG. And the rule says that he's in the job for 210 days only, so he's there for 7 months. If during that time Trump nominates a guy or a gal for the real job to be the real AG, who has to be confirmed by the Senate, then the guy has to step down, except if that process of getting the real AG is still going on, he can get another 210 days. So Trump isn't trying to make him the permanent guy, so he doesn't need to have him confirmed by the Senate because because he's not permanent. But there is an interpretation of the law, the Vacancies Act, that says that if you're going to pick an interim guy, it has to be somebody who's already been confirmed by the Senate for something, and this guy has never been confirmed by the Senate for anything. Now, that is a gray area in the law, and everybody's going to fight. They're probably going to go through the court system. But the bottom line is that there's a lot of murkiness surrounding this guy.
I believe it's that he hasn't been confirmed for anything. I believe it's at the federal level by the Senate, because he was the Attorney General in Iowa.
Plus, he was president of the Toastmasters Club in Columbus.
Exactly. And people want to say, oh, well, he was an AG of Iowa, so he basically could be AG of the entire United States. We elected this guy dog catcher, so now we can make him president because he won an election to be dog catcher.
Well,
so
you could say, look at the president who didn't have any, political
experience. And look how well he's done. Well, great choice.
So what's Mueller going to come up with? Now, the Wall Street Journal reported yesterday that Mueller is zeroing in on campaign violations. And I think what he's focusing on, apparently, according to this reporting by the Wall Street Journal, is that apparently there's some evidence that, coupled with Michael Cohen's assertion that I was Trump's fixer and lawyer, and I'm here to tell you, when he paid Stormy Daniels the $150,000 or whatever it was, it was his intention to influence the election. It was a campaign contribution, and that is a violation. So now there's some independent evidence, apparently, according to the Wall Street Journal, that Trump knew darn well that what he was paying was really a campaign contribution. Trump's attitude is going to be, hello, I would have paid the stripper off whether there was an election or not, because hello, it's really embarrassing to be caught having slept with a stripper. Melania is not going to be happy. Now, remember the John Edwards situation. He paid off his mistress, Riel, and he actually was forced to go to trial, and he was found not guilty, in part because some of the money he paid was after his election, and therefore it looked less like an election violation. But Trump, his payment was completely before the election. Is the public going to get behind the idea, though, that lying about sex, even in a legal context, an election law violation, is that something that justifies impeachment? I will remind you that in 1998 and 1999, the Republicans got smacked down by the voters who said, Bill Clinton lied about sex. That's what people do. That's what big politicians do.
We all lie about sex.
Yes, and they weren't impressed by the fact that when Ken Starr said, but it's in the context of perjury, it's a legal matter, you've got to impeach the guy. The Republicans lost in the midterms. They couldn't impeach and convict the guy. Why is it any different with Trump? Why shouldn't Trump skate on the Clinton doctrine that he's a bad guy who lies about sex? There was a legal context. Arguably, Clinton's legal context was worse because it was perjury 20 times in a deposition about his sexual relationship with Lewinsky, whereas Trump's lie is in the context of a federal campaign law violation, which generally is a ticket. It's a fine, and it's not a jailable, much less impeachable offense.
I don't see, as you put it, a great way to put it, I don't see this as being an issue that the American public is going to change its mind on Trump about. If you're anti-Trump, you're going to stand up and trumpet it. You're going to say this is clearly against the law, and you're probably going to be right. But if you're pro-Trump, there's no way you're flipping and saying he lied about sex. We know he lies about sex. We've heard him lie about sex 100 times now.
What's the difference?
It doesn't change anything that here he did it in the context of paying money. We also know he paid off women. The fact that all we're getting out of this potential investigation, if they go down that road as the primary road, is turns out this thing he did was technically illegal. But the people of America who support Trump are already okay with what he did underlying. They already know what happened.
And the Clinton precedent, again, is so instructive because the Republicans could not help themselves. They saw the handwriting on the wall. They knew it was futile because they knew they couldn't get a conviction in the Senate. There's no way they'd get a two-thirds vote
from the Democrats
in the Senate. But they had to impeach Clinton, even though the polls showed them that the folks didn't really care that much. Fast forward to now. I got a feeling that Adam Schiff and Maxine Waters and the rest of the folks who are going to be running the House in the very near future are not going to be able to hold themselves back. If they get nothing more than what they already have, I think they truly feel in their hearts that impeachment is justified, and they'll go forward. And they may meet the same fate.
I think.
Well, let me finish the thought. The finish of the thought is that if Mueller gives them some more ammunition, that could flip it over to be a real. You could really put Trump into jeopardy. But what was your point?
It was what you finished saying.
Okay. I was prescient. I knew what you were going to say.
But there's no way right now that a Senate, and especially with Republicans picking up a few seats in the Senate, would convict him.
Yeah, of course.
And So you're right.
Yeah. To me, I also think you're absolutely right. I think that the real action will come with the Don Jr. connection, and when that smug guy goes down, we're all going to have a parade.
What'd you call him, a smug guy?
We're on a podcast.
We're on a podcast. Connor had to downgrade the word to guy.
Yeah. So when the Don Jr. connection to the Russians who are trying to influence, get dirt on Hillary Clinton and trying to set up secret meetings, and the back channel to talk to Russia, all that is going to come to a head, and Don Jr. is going to get his indictment. At least he'll feel like really a true full member of the family once he gets indicted, just like everybody else, and be a real member of the Trump team. He's sort of been a junior, you know what I'm saying, the whole time, but he'll be a full member of the team.
And Eric is going to say, "Wait, what about
hold up? What about
Tiffany?"
So I wonder,
oh God, poor Eric, the saddest man alive.
I wonder if you guys feel sorry for poor Sean Hannity, because he was reprimanded by Fox News this week.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Tuesday night, I believe it was Tuesday or maybe it was Monday. There was an election rally for Donald Trump.
Yeah, I guess it was Monday night.
Okay,
it had to be Monday night. Wasn't it?
Yeah, so Hannity's in the audience. So you know the story, Ken. Hannity's in the audience, and apparently he kind of knew this might happen.
Well, he was doing a show for Fox News, and
sure.
Everybody knew that.
Yeah, but he happened to be in the audience when the Donald sees him and said, "Come on up here, Sean.
He had
come
specifically tweeted that he said, "I will not be on stage with Donald Trump."
Yeah, right.
At this, and then he was.
And then he was.
So he got called up, and so he goes up, and that apparently, according to the corporate masters at Fox News Corp, crossed the line. Oh my gosh, it's okay for Sean Hannity to be a total sycophantic shill for Donald Trump 1 hour a night, every single night of the week. That's okay, but it's not okay for him to walk up on the stage and say, "Oh, thank you, Mr. President. I'm honored to be here." I think that's silly.
It is silly.
I have no problem with Hannity expressing his opinion if the ratings justify him being there. And frankly, he says a lot of stuff that I agree with. Some of the stuff is totally wacko and crosses the line.
Rush was there. I mean, it was
Rush Limbaugh was there.
And Judge Janine Pirro was invited up.
Why should you're right? She got in trouble too.
It's but it's the same thing. Everyone knows they do opinion shows. They're not news people on the evening at Fox.
So why should there be a line drawn between doing what Sean does every night and standing up and waving on the stage?
Because in this case, Fox News is trying to have it both ways.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
and the truth is, not every sane person knows, but not every person knows that this is not the news. They don't understand the difference between news and opinion. They listen to Sean Hannity and they say this is just exactly like watching.
Yeah, I got a feeling Shepard Smith would die first before he appears with Trump anywhere.
Yeah,
Shepard Smith is definitely left of center. He's not comfortable at his home.
That's the straight news show or whatever it is.
These people are trying to say we are journalists.
The only thing I have
Fox wants to claim that their people are journalists, even the ones who do opinion shows. And the difference between it, while it seems silly, is there is no interpretation that other than Sean Hannity is shilling for Trump when you get up on stage next to him. Whereas if you flip that and you say, oh, you put him behind a desk in a studio and he's talking on his show, he can simply be reporting the news and coming down with the right conclusion, which always just happens to agree with Mr. Trump, which is totally different.
Here's my problem. CNN and Fox, neither one of them can lay claim to being objective journalists. They both have huge agendas. Jim Acosta practically got into a fist fight.
Yeah, I got to tell you, did you see the beginning of that exchange real quick? Because when that exchange started, I thought it started with Acosta raising his voice or something, and not being real accusatory, but it didn't seem, nice.
It didn't seem
very professional. And then the microphone thing happened, and all of that. But, and
I think the Trump people exaggerated, though. I don't think he grabbed.
I would say Acosta's a journalist. I think he is, but he. And tone matters also, and it's hard to say if he went over the line there. But then Trump. That he either took Trump's bait or Trump took his bait. Something happened.
A little bit of both.
You go.
I think that talking about sort of civility is always going to be a distraction and always going to undermine the real conversation, which can't really be about was this reporter polite or nice or respectful to Trump, when in the same breath we then have to turn around and say, well, what is the impact of the fact that Sarah Huckabee Sanders uploaded downloaded, then re-uploaded and shared in a tweet a doctored video created probably by someone in the Alex Jones InfoWars conspiracy theorist organization that rejiggered the situation, literal fake news, to make Jim Acosta look like he'd assaulted someone.
I thought, just going back in time quick, I thought Richard Nixon did not pull Dan Rather's press pass when the two of them went at it back in the 70s. Somebody on Facebook said I was wrong.
Oh, yeah?
But I'm not sure, and I don't think Nixon went that far. Anybody remember that?
I'm not sure, but I got to say, what bothers me is I kind of miss the days when I could pick up the newspaper or listen to TV and feel like I'm getting the straight story, because when I hear a Fox person, I'm not getting it straight, I'm getting right-wing. When I hear CNN, I'm getting left-wing. And when I pick up the New York Times and the LA Times, I know the people who are writing that stuff are not being objective. Hey, when we come back, a world exclusive, a videotape of our future president as part of our hot tub time machine. So stay with us on the Royal Oak Show.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
Hey, Lorraine, do you realize that your mother, my mother-in-law, Chef Maria, has been serving Las Vegas since 1949?
Yes, I do, Dennis. That's when she first met Howard Hughes, who fell in love with her cooking.
And in 1955, she opened her first restaurant on Fremont Street.
Yes, dear. And another great customer was Liberace.
Wow. Then in 1962, while Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack were causing global excitement on the Las Vegas Strip, your family opened their second restaurant.
And in 1972, Elvis Presley began electrifying Las Vegas audiences and eating in our restaurants.
You know, Lorraine, this is quite a town. There's only one Las Vegas.
And there's only one Bootlegger Italian Bistro.
Folks, when you're in Las Vegas, come visit us. We'll make you feel like you're part of our family.
The Bootlegger Italian Bistro, conveniently located at 7700 Las Vegas Boulevard, South Strip. Visit our website at www.bootleggerlasvegas.com.
Do you want to fly somewhere, anywhere in the world? Smart travelers call myflightsearch.com for the best deals on flight tickets. Going to Manila, Bangkok, London, how about Singapore? Call myflightsearch.com for the lowest flight tickets available. What about a local vacation? Let's say you want to fly to Vegas, Orlando, Miami, Los Angeles, or Denver. Pick up the phone and call myflightsearch.com right now. We have exclusive deals that you can't find anywhere else. The only way you can get these low airline prices is by calling us. We have so many low prices available, we can't possibly tell them to you right here and now. If you're flying somewhere anytime in the next 6 months and you want the lowest airline ticket prices anywhere, you owe it to yourself to save a ton of money. So pick up your cell phone and call myflightsearch.com right now.
Call 800-445-3166. 800-445-3166. That's 800-445-3166. Call now. 800-445-3166.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Their expert staff can help you turn your book idea into a real book, a masterpiece that could someday make the bestseller list in hard copy and digitally all across the world. Page Publishing can help you completely take your idea for a book, write it, and publish it. So if you want to join the ranks of some of the most famous authors in the world, call now for a free information kit. Turn your book idea into publishing gold. Make a free call right now to Page Publishing.
800-378-3212. 800-378-3212. 800-378-3212. That's 800-378-3212.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries and our correspondent Connor Oakes. So, let's go to our hot tub time machine feature, guys, because we love to dip into the past with a significant soundbite from the past. And since we had the midterm this week, let's go into the past and find out what some past presidents felt about some midterms that didn't go so well for them, if you please.
Right. With the Democrats in control of both the White House and the Congress, we were held accountable yesterday, and I accept my share of the responsibility in the result of the elections.
Not great.
This is an Arkansas
I ran for this office to tackle these challenges and give voice to the concerns of everyday people. Over the last 2 years, we've made progress. But clearly, too many Americans haven't felt that progress yet.
Okay, so thank you for that. Let's compare it. Let's
humble.
Yeah, sort of humble. They were chastened, a big defeat at the polls. So now the Republicans lose the House of Representatives. As I understand it, Connor, you've done some research. The president's reaction was something like, "This was a tremendous success."
Yeah.
He kind of put a positive spin on it.
Yeah, you could say a positive spin in a sense. His answer was, those who worked with me in this midterm election, who embraced certain policies and principles, I think he's talking specifically about like putting children in jail. Those that did not were big winners. Those that did not, say goodbye.
Yeah.
Yesterday was such a very big win, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes on to say, to add a little one in the same tweet storm, my favorite tweet storm of the entire post-midterm season so far, he said, if the Democrats think they're going to waste taxpayer money investigating us at the House level, then we will likewise be forced to consider investigating them for all the leaks of classified information and much else at the Senate level. Senate investigations, which is not really a thing. Two can play at that game. So he starts the sentence with, if the Democrats think they're going to waste taxpayer money, two can play at that game.
So he's happy and he's a bit combative, so that's different. So that was interesting, but now the next Hot Tub Time Machine segment is actually stunning because I don't know how we did it, but we went into the future with this time machine. Ooh. We found the next president, and this is what she is saying on her inaugural day. Exactly. This is what she's saying to everybody in the population. Could we have the sound
drum roll? All right, open your boxes. Open your boxes. 1, 2, 3.
You get a car. January 20, 2021, we're all going to get a car.
This past week she said, you get a vote, you get a vote, you get a vote, you get a vote.
You think Oprah couldn't beat Donald Trump? Have you seen her on the stump? She's a natural politician.
She totally could.
She's smart. Everybody loves her, and we're all going to get a car.
I'm very excited about it.
I think it's really happening.
I'm seeing it now. 2020, Oprah and Barney the dinosaur, their line is, you get a car. You put it on the posters.
I love you. You love me. Da, da, da,
Camry.
So our second moron of the week candidate, guys, Pete Davidson of Saturday Night Live. He mocked the GOP congressional candidate who lost an eye in the war in Afghanistan. He lost the sight of both eyes, but permanently. Lost his right eye after a bomb exploded during a mission in Afghanistan. And what did Davidson say? He said, "Oh, well, I guess this guy lost his sight in war or whatever."
Whatever, yeah.
Shrugging and grinning, whatever. So, moron candidate.
He's too broken up because Ariana Grande dumped him.
That's true. So who's the biggest moron? This guy, Pete Davidson, or the lawyer who said to the client, have fun in prison?
Lawyer.
Oh, 100% the lawyer. Pete is a heartbroken comedian. You can't expect him to, be... this guy's a lawyer with ethical duties. He's got a client.
Besides,
I think
the candidate won.
I think you're right.
I think he won.
Yeah, no, he did win.
Whatever, but,
all right, so last topic. We just got a few seconds, guys. This tragic shooting. Is this going to trigger, with the Democrats in charge in the House, some meaningful gun control reform when it comes to waiting periods or whatever?
I don't know.
Are they going to be able to put pressure on the rest of the
Senate?
Congress?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, they could pass anything they want. The NRA is going to block it in the Senate. The Senate is where things get bogged down anyway, just by the nature of it. It's just not going to happen. Once again, same thing as always. You have a horrific tragedy. Everybody says we're going to make big changes, and then nothing happens.
On that upbeat note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week on the Royal Oak Show.
Enjoy.